Episode of Shots on Target with your host, Brad Betts, your go to show for global football analysis and betting. Today's Tuesday, December 10th. Uh, Brad Betts Dub Club, we're coming off a scorchingly hot streak. We're 15 and 2 over our last 17 plays. So we're really rounding into form. But today is a very difficult Champions League slate that we have ahead of us. And there's also some lower league action all over the board. I mean, there's a number of looks, but for me, there's a lot of uncertainty. So I love that I have my boy, my man, my buddy, the Prince, the Royal Capper, Prince of Picks on X. You can also find him on TikTok. I know there's a number of other mediums. You can update everybody what you're doing. But I wanted to say, how are you doing? How are you doing today? What's up? How are you feeling?
Mr. Bradley, glad to be back on with you, sir. Big fan of yours as always. One of my friends here on social media, and yeah, man, I'm excited to get into these picks. I'll be giving out plays on the socials. You guys know that. You follow me on TikTok and X. Giving out plays every day. We've been hitting a lot of them left and right. A lot of these lower leagues, some Champions League. So we've just been crushing it lately, and I'm really excited to join forces here with one of the great cappers in the game here in Bradley, and so. I think we got some really good bangers for you guys today. I'm excited to get into it, and happy to be back on the show. Happy to have you reboot this show here. Missed you on camera here recently, but glad to see you back. And yeah, man, let's get into it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to be back here one day per week, every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, depending on where you live. Mountains, there's other time zones, but we're going to be coming back once a week to make sure that we provide the community with some free plays, bless up, talk about what is scoring, what's trending, give the community an update of what we see from kind of behind the scenes from a little different angle. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump straight into a few of these trending leagues here. Oh, where did I grab it? Qatar, Swiss, insane. Swiss Challenge League right now, both teams to score is 22 and 3 over the last 25 matches. That is an insane figure at 88%. However, 3 of the last 4 matches with both teams to score, no. So the last 3 games, we do want to monitor it, but prior to that, it was 22 straight in the league, or 21 straight. Insane production. The over 2.5 is at 18 and 7. That's really solid production as well on its own, but that both teams a score number you want to be mindful of. But really, we want to talk about Qatar. Qatar, Qatar, Qatar. I've been talking about this league for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's really insane what we're seeing as far as production standpoint. I don't know if I've ever seen it before outside of maybe Singapore. That's a kind of a different league in its own category, but Qatar right now, both teams to score is 29 and 9. That is 29 over the last 38 hit both teams to score. But an even better number, it's coming in trending in 18 straight matches, hitting over 2.5 goals. So you're seeing goals fly in both ends, yes, but more specifically, you're seeing that over hit with regularity. Those lines are pretty ugly pre-match, so you want to be mindful. A lot of times it's great to jump in pre-match. I've been doing some degenerate betting with some first half goals because these lines are getting outrageous, but it's one that you need to be paying attention to live every single week, because if you get anything advantageous, you just got to smack it. Uh, Before we get into our best bets of the day, did you have anything that you wanted to cover? I know you had a few leagues that you wanted to lean. We can talk about afterwards, but is there anything you're seeing on your end that I didn't mention on mine?
No, I mean, like you said, like you alluded to, the obviously. So for me, and I think for everyone, the holy grail of lower leagues is Singapore League, right? And that league you just can't touch, right? In terms of the frequency of goals and BTTS and just incredible scoring output. But to your point, the Qatar League is very close to that in terms of goals scored and finding good value on a lot of plays. And you got the UAE League, you have of course, MLS, which unfortunately is over now, but that's another one that BTTS and over 2.5 hits in a lot. And so you got various leagues around the world. Like you said, we'll get into it a little bit more in depth after we give our picks. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of value on these lower league plays, and I'll be getting into that a little bit more as we carry the show here.
34 and 4 to the over 2.5. 38 matches, 34 of them have hit over 2.5. Qatar, absolutely insane production at this moment. We'll be back on the weekend, I believe this weekend. So check your slate, check your schedule, hit those notifications for that match. Next, I'm going to go ahead and get in, or yeah, Prince, go ahead and get into your first best bet. And then I'm going to get into one, and I know you have commentary on. So I'm going to switch my best bets from the later game to the first one just because you have commentary to keep it rolling. But go ahead, jump into that first best bet for the slate that you have for us.
Sure. All right. So starting off today, we're gonna go to the EFL Trophy, which is kind of like the Europa Conference League of England, if you will. Right? Kind of like the tertiary tournament in England. A
Yeah.
lot of lower teams, your lower league, League One, League Two, National League teams playing this tournament. We got a 2:45 p.m. Eastern kickoff where Bolton is going to be taking on Huddersfield. Huddersfield coming to this one undefeated in their last six overall. They're also undefeated in their last six head to head with Bolton. So they've absolutely dominated Bolton as of recently. Both teams here play in the League One of the English football pyramid. So they're relatively similar in terms of their skill level. However, Huddersfield is fourth in the table right now. Meanwhile, Bolton is a few spots back at seventh. I think Huddersfield is a better team here. I think Huddersfield is the play here. I think the data supports that. I know we tend to go on more BTTS and overs on this show, but I'm going to go for a little different angle with this play. I like Huddersfield draw no bet at plus 110. I think getting draw insurance and getting a plus money value on a team that hasn't lost in six matches and hasn't lost to this particular team in six matches, I think that's an excellent value play here. So I'm going to be all over that. And then another play I have here, it's a little bit more risky, but if you're looking for a little bit bigger payout, I also like Huddersfield to win and over 1.5 goals. You can get that at plus 260. Bolton, they've conceded a goal in seven straight and 18 of their last 21 matches. So they have just been conceding regularly, but they've also scored a goal in 14 of their last 16 matches. So again, BTTS is hitting regularly for Bolton. Meanwhile, Huddersfield on the other side, they have scored 10, scored in 10 of their last 12. They've also scored in five of their last seven. Or I'm sorry, conceded in, let me say that again. They have scored in 10 of their last 12 and conceded in five of their last seven. So again, BTTS is hitting for them as well. And then four of the last six head to head between Bolton and Huddersfield has also seen BTTS. So I think there's significant data here to hit the BTTS, to hit the Huddersfield to win here based on the previous data. And then over 1.5 goals BTTS obviously is the same as over 1.5. I there wasn't too many lines for this one. I had some difficulty finding books finding taking bets on this game, so we're a little limited. But I'll take the Huddersfield to win and over 1.5. Again, if you're looking for a little bit higher payout, that was at plus 260.
I agree that there are limited books that offer the AFL trophy. I know FanDuel is one of them that does. I believe DraftKings does now. I'm not sure about MGM. There's a number of other books. The EFL trophy is an interesting one. I tend to steer away a lot from those lower level cup betting. If there is any transition of players, I get scared of it a little bit. But I know that they're playing very hard. I just tend to steer clear of it. Bolton is a team I really like. They could just concede all the time. They score all the time, especially when they're at home. So BTS is a good look. I'm interested to see how that one finishes. I'm not necessarily the best person that picks on either side of the line of who's going to win or lose. I like to predict where if it's going to be over under. Both teams be able to net. That's where I kind of find my specialty. So I'm interested to see how that one goes. My first bet I have for us, this is the 2 o'clock game, just so you can provide commentary. I know it's a later one, but it's Brest versus PSV. Brest come in scoring in 14 of their last 17, but 23 of their last 27 at home. Regular scorers. They conceded in 10 straight coming into it and 19 of their last 24 regular conceders. They've hit over 2.5 goals in 4 of their 5 UCL matches this season. They've also hit over 2.5 in 9 of their last 13 matches. So they're coming in trending, both in the UCL and in all of their matches, hitting that over. But they're taking on a PSV squad who scored in 33 straight matches. Absolute powerhouse. They've conceded in 20 of their last 27. They've hit over 2.5 goals in 18 of their 21 or that was, I actually have the wrong stats here, but I think it's 17 of their 20 matches that they're hitting over 2.5 goals coming into it. This is a team that plays very, very open PSV, and it's the same with Brest. Brest has successfully managed to find some points in this very difficult champions format, which is very surprising, but some of that is lower quality talent. They're winning a PSV squad who I think has more talent. They should be able to score, obviously, given how regularly they are scoring, but they also find a way to concede on a regular basis. I watched them play FC20 this past weekend. They conceded, had given opportunities they shouldn't have given up. So away from home, you expect Brest to be able to come out on fire, but PSV needs points as well. So they should be pushing. And when they score one, they like to score two. They don't like to sit back. They're not a team that just tries to protect a one goal lead. So I expect goals in this match. I'm going to take PSV versus Brest over 2.75 on the Asian total at minus 130. I expect 3 goals, which gives us that push, little bit of profit category. They're hitting that over 2.5, and then a full profit if it hits the over 3.5.
Yeah, so it's funny. Me and Bradley, we talk about our picks before we come on the show here, just to kind of stay organized and stay on the same page here. Both had this match highlighted. And so I'm right with you on everything you said. I think we see a ton of goals in this one. I think it's going to be a wide open match. I have a little bit different of a lean here some bets that I like for this one. I'm actually going to go with a PSV draw no bet again. I know we're going for overs and unders, but minus 200 is a little bit juicier than what I typically like. However, I think there's significant data here to support it. Brest coming to this one in poor form here. They've lost 4 of their last 5 overall. I personally think maybe Champions League play is finally starting to catch up to them. This is a club and an organization that's not used to playing Champions League, and so maybe the rotation of players and just the overall fitness level, the increased amount of games. I think it might start to be catching up to them, and that might be affecting their play here lately. Meanwhile, PSV, pretty shocking. I wasn't aware of this until I did some of the research on this, but they're one of the hottest teams in Europe right now. They've only lost 2 of their last 31 matches overall. That's incredible. 2 of their last 31 is all they've lost, and so this is a team that's just on fire. They've won 6 straight. Goal scoring machine, like you alluded to. For those of us who are USMNT fans, Ricardo Pepi has been the super sub for this team. He's been scoring goals for fun coming off the bench. And so it's really good to see him flourish. But this PSV team is just a wide open machine both ways. And so, yeah, I think PSV draw no bet just because of their current form. I like that a lot. And then also BTTS and over 2.5. That's at minus 105. Again, PSV, they have BTTS has hit in 75% of their last 12 matches. It's hit in 80% of Brest's last 12 matches. Over 2.5 is hitting 10 out of 11 for PSV. Over 2.5 and 9 out of 13 for Brest. So that's an over 70% hit trend in both of those metrics for both teams. And so that's kind of the number that I look for. If it's over 70%, I try to attack it. And PSV has cleared over 2.5 on their own in 7 of the last 8, meaning they alone have scored 3 goals. So I think we have significant data here. And getting it at minus 105, that's I can't pass it up. And so those are the 2 plays that I really love for that one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with PSV right now, it's an over team through and through, and you see that with their previous records. But also, if you look at the Champions League, which I've done holistically, all 5 match days calculated it, what's hitting, BTTS is actually hitting at just 47%. It's 42 and 48. So less than 50%, both teams are finding the net. However, in what is just lost the number. Here we go. 59%. That's 53 and 37. They're hitting the over 2.5. So even though those 2 numbers are incredibly correlated, and I talk about it all the time. Both teams to score tends to lead to the over 2.5 because when that's 2 goals, you just need a third one. It's much easier. But hitting that over 2.5 being a little bit inversely correlated to that BTTS does have an interesting trend to me. So I'm going to take that's why I'm going to eat that juice on the 2.75 in the Asian total. I didn't explain myself as much, but that's why. So if you ever see yourself with a caveat, don't be afraid of that 2.75 Asian total. It can really give you a bit of a safety net. And I don't say that to you, Prince. I say that to the community who's watching. Just don't be afraid of that and don't forget about it. For a long period of time, many years, I didn't really like the Asian total, didn't really understand the benefit. But now I'm really digging into them and really understanding that it gives you such a good safety net on that. I'm going to go ahead. Actually, you have another pick now that you wanted to jump into in the EFL Trophy. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do. I have just one more play here that I'll get into real quick here. We are going to stay in the EFL Trophy here. So if you're a Cup fan, I got another one for you. Another 2:45 p.m. Eastern kickoff. We got Exeter City taking on Birmingham City. Birmingham, one of the blue bloods of League One. This is really a championship side. I mean, it was an epic collapse in the promotional playoffs last year in League One that didn't see them get promoted to the championship. But this club is in full go mode right now. The amount of money that they're spending on their players, their roster construction, just everything about this team, they are going for it hardcore. They are not, holding back at all. So this is really a championship side playing in League One. They've shown that so far this year. They're third in the table. They've been pretty dominant. They've been scoring goals for fun in League One, and I think they are poised to make a solid run to the championship again this season. They've scored 2+ goals in 9 of their last 12 matches. Has Birmingham? Meanwhile, Exeter has conceded 2+ goals in 8 of their last 12. So you got 75% of the last 12. Exeter has been conceding 2+. And I believe that's 9 out of 12. What's the math there? I can't do it on the top of my head, but pretty significantly that Birmingham has been scoring 2+. So I like Birmingham team total over 1.5 goals here at -170. Again, it's slightly juiced, but that is pretty significant here. That I think Birmingham can at least score two against an Exeter side that's been conceding regularly.
Awesome. I actually can't find the chat, so I don't know if anybody is messaging. If you have that in front of you, feel free to call it out. I
I,
can't. It's not
yeah,
showing up on my end.
it's not showing up on mine either. I can't find the chat.
Okay. So apologize to anybody on that. Haven't even been able to see, or if anybody is messaging, sorry, we're not trying to ignore you. I just can't see anything on my end, which is weird. There has been some technical issues all throughout the video community this morning, so I don't know if that has something to do with it. But okay, so Birmingham is so much fun. Is it that Tom Brady is the minority owner of
Yeah.
Birmingham? I think, yeah. So
Yep.
it's just like Wrexham. I mean, they're a spitting image of Wrexham, just shooting up through the system. Right now in England, it is super trendy for celebrities to buy a lower league team, put just a tiny bit of money, some good investors around it, and shoot them up through the league. And it can happen very quickly with just a little bit of money, because just a tiny little bit of talent and money pool can make these teams really dominate these levels. And when you go from 4, 3, 2 to 1, it's tens to 20s to 30s to hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. So it's a quick get rich Ponzi scheme almost for a lot of these investors who will sell stakes once they get up to the Premier League. So you need to be mindful of these teams like Birmingham, like Wrexham on a daily basis, because they are superior in talent level. So, and you need to know because sometimes their lines are inappropriate. Like you shouldn't see certain lines like this because there is more money that's going to be pooling in. Just like in the NFL, sometimes money gets pooled into certain things and it pushes the directions. Anyway, I'm going to jump into my fourth pick for the day. I'm going with a side. Not normal for me to go for a side, but there's a reason that I'm going for this side. I am going to go to that 11:45, the early kickoff between Girona and Liverpool. So Girona come in, they've just scored in one of their last four, 9 of their last 18 matches. That's just 50% of the last 18. Not a good run of form. Watched them this past weekend, very poor. Watched them the past couple weeks, very poor. Injury stricken. I don't know if you know that's a name. They've been struck with injuries throughout the season, and they're coming off selling all their top players. They never recuperated the talent they should have, so they're struggling. And they're at home. So you're going to get a playable line usually for any team that's playing away just simply because the team is at home. Well, let's look at this team. Or sorry, Girona's they've conceded in 14 of their 19, and they've 2+ in 4 of their last 8. So they're regularly conceding. They've lost 4 of their 5 UCL matches coming into it. And they've only beaten Slovan Bratislava, which isn't necessarily the one team that you want to have on your resume with the W. You want somebody better. You look at Liverpool. They've scored in 28 of their last 30 matches. 2+ in 18 of their 21 this season. So they're scoring goals regularly, not just one, but two. They've conceded in only 10 of their last 18 matches, so just 50%. Those are nice correlated numbers. Girona only scoring at 50%. Liverpool only conceding close to 50%. And they've only conceded in one of their 5 UCL matches. But you need to know those UCL matches weren't just regular UCL matches. It wasn't like Sparta Prague and Salzburg, these regular struggling teams. This was Milan, Leverkusen, Leipzig, blank out. They had 5 solid matches coming into this, and they've performed solidly. So I think that with them winning 5 UCL matches straight, they're coming in absolutely pumping. They've won 15 of their last 17. They've only dropped points in 2 matches. And I say drop points because they tied Arsenal and Newcastle. Other than that, they're just winning like crazy. Liverpool -1 at minus 165. That gives us the safety net if they can only win by one, if they just are come out slow or don't push as hard, or Girona gets lucky and scores late. Getting that safety net at a full -1 for this Liverpool money line, it feels like I have to. It's a little bit juicy. I know I don't like to put out a play that juicy typically, but in the UCL, sometimes we need to make these type of plays. And I think backing Liverpool is a really smart decision today. Hopefully, it doesn't backfire. But you know, I like Liverpool. I think they're really into form, and Girona just looks really off sorts right now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think Liverpool by far is the play here. I know you were alluding to the Asian lines earlier and how you used to stay away from. I love Asian lines. I love everything. I love the Asian spread. I love the Asian totals. I just love having that insurance with the the increased payout, increased value of the picks. And so Liverpool -1. I'm okay with a push if it doesn't, if they only win by one. But I think there's a better than good chance that they win by two or more in this one. Like you said, Girona has been in really poor form. They've been struggling to kind of replenish their team. They emptied the cabinet, if you will. They didn't really refill it, so there's nothing there. Cupboards are bare, and Liverpool is just on fire right now, rolling. Rolling all the teams that they play against. So really like that play a lot. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Love it. There's a number of English championship, the second division of the English leagues that I like to bet the championship. It's about a 50-50 league based on the statistics of whether or not it's going to hit the BTTS or the over 2.5. So you need to be very, very specific on which matches you play. And every team, home and away, you need to have both teams correlate really well, not just one. So if you have like a Luton who hits BTTS regularly, you still need to have somebody on the other end, like a Norwich, who also produces, or else you're going to find yourself in variance territory all season. So I'm looking at these matches. You got Portsmouth and Norwich. Well, Portsmouth score and concede in almost every single game. Norwich score and concede in almost every single game, multiple of those. However, and Norwich is hitting both teams to score in almost every single game coming into it, but in their matchup history, 0 of 3. So they're not doing it against one another. Then you have Luton and Stoke. Luton is a team that you can almost count on, and you probably still can. Stoke's coming in scoring in 15 of their last 20, which is pretty solid. But you look at the matchup history, they've only hit both teams scoring one of their last 6. That's not a very good correlation there. So sometimes you don't see good correlations in that sense. You might see that these two game plays from these clubs, they know each other well. It's just how it is. Leeds versus Middlesbrough, scoring regularly, but they don't concede very often. But Middlesbrough are one of the top scoring and conceding teams in the championship. Away from home, if they can nick a goal, both teams to score is an absolute no brainer. But Leeds only conceded in 7 of their last 18. I can't get there. Plymouth versus Swansea. Plymouth scoring in just about 50%, just over 12 of their last 20. Just went through a manager change, I believe. Rooney got fired, or
Yeah.
something's going on with them. So that's going to be an issue. They do score in 12 of their last 13 home matches. So that's good, but and concede in 17 of their last 18. Scoring, conceding, especially at home. However, Swansea, they've only scored in 7 of their last 12, 15 of their last 24, not trending well. They concede in 20 of their last 26, so you expect it. But this matchup history supports it. BTTS in 4 of 5, over 2.5 at 4 and 6. So I'm in between a lot with the championship. I don't like to bet the EFL Cup. So we're really struggling for really some top quality games to bet. A little bit of uncertainty here. So I wanted to run through all of that for you because there is so much. And what I do want to say is that all my Dub Club members, which is my subscription that I have, everybody who subscribes to me through Dub Club to be able to get all of my picks, they also have access to my Discord, which is essentially a data dump. It's all these stats coming through. You'll see, Qatar stats. You'll see what I'm betting on each day. You'll see the 20, 30, 40 matches that I go through each day and I study each day to find the best pick, to find the best look for us each day. Looks, multiple looks. But I just want everybody to know that this that we're pulling from is what you can have access to every single day as a Dub Club subscriber. Prince, I just want to say thank you so much for coming today. It was absolute blast. As always, I talked way too much, but that's just what happens when I'm only on the mic for a certain period of time. There's just so much that needs to come out. But I just want to say thank you again for coming on, giving us some of these great picks. And I know you're going to be back with us again next Tuesday. So we're going to make this a regular thing, giving free plays out on Tuesday. Call it maybe a two-pick Tuesday, something like that. Be able to bless the community. But again, wanted to say it's at Prince of Picks 10 on X, and is it the same on TikTok?
Yep. Same on TikTok.
Awesome. Love it. Well, again, thanks so much for coming. Again, this is Shots on Target, your go to show for global football analysis and betting. Today is Tuesday, December 10th. We have gave you so many great best bets. We overviewed tons of leagues. Shoot me a message if you have any questions. And again, we'll see you next time.